The ideas that gave birth to our nation are the ideas that our nation is resistant to right now, and we should talk about that all the time.
In a world where narratives are shaped by corporations and gatekeepers, independent voices matter more than ever. Badlands Media brings together citizen journalists, researchers, and independent thinkers.
The truth is triggering.
Question the narrative. Explore the facts.
It's authenticity, courage, resilience.
Search for the truth others won't.
It's not about being first or being right.
The information war is changing.
It's about being authentic.
Embrace the friction.
Embrace the friction.
Shut the f*** up.
Authentically antagonizing. Join the movement.
I'm going to say how I feel.
Follow Badlands Media.
This is about the future.
The Badlands. What are the Badlands? Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
All right, good morning, Badlandia. Welcome to Badlands Daily.
It really feels like the cat with the laser pointer. It's like you led the cat up to the top of the building and now you're leading it over the edge.
President Trump is rebalancing trade around the world and making things more fair for the American people.
I think that anytime the deep state can like over-capitalize in whatever situation they have, they're going to.
But the rest of it is a very well-organized and well-funded color revolution operation of the type they run all over the world again and again and again to destabilize entire society.
Echoes carried on the wind. We stepped into a moment where a nation would begin. Powder smoke and rising banners, voices ringing through the flame. We rode the currents of tomorrow, found the dawn of freedom's flame. Raise the flame of revolution, let the old world hear us roar. Freedom rise on every heartbeat, marching louder than before. From the Delaware to glory, soft disclosure fans the flame.
All right, good morning, Badlandia. Welcome to Badlands Daily. Today's Tuesday, but I've got the one and only Ashe filling in today for the GOAT, Gordon himself. Ashe, how you doing?
I'm good. I identify as Gordon today.
You can't identify as Gordon.
The hell I can't.
You can't.
Dare you? How dare you?
It's in your genes. It's in your genes.
Dare you? What are you about?
You're
You're not a biologist.
In 100 years, when we're all dead, people will be able to identify you as either Ashe Epp or Gordon McCormick, and it's going to come back Ashe Epp. So the hell with your feelings.
You're a bigot.
How you doing this
We
week?
have fought so hard to be able to identify as Gordon. How dare you?
Well,
I'm good. I'm good. I'm in a much better headspace than I was all of last week because I finally submitted my filing yesterday. So,
well, that's always good to hear.
yeah.
Little sigh of relief there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it's relief. It feels like a little bit of a Hail Mary to ask them to reconsider what they decided. But I think I made good arguments. I don't know if you had a chance to read it. I sent it to you.
Not yet.
But yeah, no, I'm proud of my work. I'll say that.
All right. Well, I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. Probably better than anything we've seen from any other lawyers in the case, or any lawyers. I shouldn't say other lawyers because you're
not a lawyer.
You're better than a lawyer. I can't say you're a lawyer.
That feels like inviting catastrophe.
Well, you don't have to say that. I'll say that. Can't hold me responsible for that, or can't hold you responsible for what I say, or something like that. I don't
something
know.
like that. Yeah, vicarious liability for speech is.
I will say,
yeah.
I will say you're probably a much better pro se litigant than one of the stories we're going to cover today.
Ooh.
And I can't wait to get to this one. It's hilarious.
Oh, that's exciting.
But before we do that, guys, if you have not done so yet, please smash that thumbs up. Ooh, I don't like seeing my only self on there. We'll go to that screen. Smash that thumbs up, and let's go ahead and jump into our sponsors for today. And first up, guys, this episode is brought to you by Cacao Bliss from Earth Echo, a ceremonial grade cacao drink with 7 superfoods that lower appetite, boost focus, and calm anxiety. Raise your hand if you start every morning with coffee. I do. 100%. Oh. Researchers at Johns Hopkins found that theobromine, the natural compound found in cacao, gives you up to 6 times longer lasting energy than caffeine with no jitters or crash. Drinking cacao as a morning ritual is over 5,000 years old. Today's sponsor has brought that ancient habit into the modern world, and it tastes like hot chocolate. Most people have heard this. The Kuna people in Panama, most people have never heard this. Excuse me. The Kuna people in Panama, they drink 5 cups of raw cacao every single day. Harvard researchers discovered their rates of cardiovascular problems are 9 times lower than Americans, and cancer rates 15 times lower. Their energy, weight, and mental clarity stay remarkably strong into old age. The reason is flavanols, natural compounds in raw cacao that modern chocolate processing almost completely destroys. Research shows high flavanol cacao can increase stem cell counts by up to 220% and improve blood vessel function by up to 47%. But you need the real ceremonial grade form. Learn more and get your special discount and free shipping today at trycacaobliss.com/badlands. That's trycacaobliss.com/badlands. I am absolutely in love with Cacao Bliss. I know you are as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a mocha every morning, but it's healthy. Like what? How's that a thing? I don't know, but I like it.
Yes.
And it's delicious.
I add it to my absolutely massive cup of coffee because I take a Stanley cup and fill it about 3/4 of the way full every morning. And that's my morning routine. And I add the Cacao Bliss, and I'll tell you, by the end, you get like a little bit of the like residue that kind of sits at the bottom, and I just give it a little swirl, put it in the cup, and that's the best cup.
Chocolate shot. Yeah.
It's like an espresso shot, except it's not espresso. It's fantastic. 10 out of 10 recommend. All right. Let's go ahead again. Smash that thumb if you have not done so yet. We do have a rant here. A Badlands boost from yesterday. Oh. Continuation, Depot 41. $20, thank you. 31.45, meaning from the video, because this was from a previous rant. In the 80s, my friends started their own landscaping business as teenagers in high school. Maybe more young men would take the initiative if there was a need. Dang it, there's a need for real world to be done this half-assed DEI way of doing things. So hold that thought, Depot 41, and thank you for the Badlands boost, by the way. That's a great way to support us, because rants, we get a chunk of it, but Badlands boost, all of it goes to the show that you're sending it to. That's fantastic.
And that's badlandsmedia.tv/boost. And I think Depot was on Baseless Conspiracies last night. I think called in.
Oh, really? Yeah. I did not get to listen to that last night. So
good show. It's fun.
I was not privy to that.
Phil Scarborough went on with John and Zach, and I ranted because they were talking about favorite conspiracy theories. So I said, "Hey, Phil Scarborough, what do you think of Patrick Byrne?" And he laughed.
My computer is being incredibly slow right now and glitchy, so I hope I don't lose. Let me close out some things here, because I don't know why it's doing this.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually my lane.
Yeah.
My computer is being glitchy, and my computer has been a real asshole lately. It will just randomly crash out. I thought I fixed it yesterday, and then it happened again late last night. So I'm going to be working on that today, but hopefully we don't crash out at the same time, Brian.
Yeah, I'm on fiber. That's not supposed to happen with me anymore, but it does. And so it is what it is. All right, let's go ahead and start off with this story here from CNBC. Man with airsoft rifle caused fireworks explosion outside of New York City immigration court. And this will kind of segue into the immigration series for today. A man described as an anti-ICE activist was taken into custody after setting off fireworks and wielding 2 airsoft rifles outside an immigration court building in Lower Manhattan. That's a good way to get yourself shot.
Yeah.
It's a good way to get yourself. These airsoft rifles, they look identical in every form and fashion to real rifles, even going as far as not having the orange tip. Like you remember hand
How do
play
you
guns?
get shot?
It's a great question. I don't think
There's five law enforcement. Oh, five law enforcement sources. Sorry, I thought that was five. He was approached by five.
Well, we have it on video, and in the video itself, when he lights fire, he doesn't appear to be wielding the airsoft rifle. So maybe it was like something before. Also, maybe he was like actively pulling the trigger, and you can clearly tell when you pull the trigger that it's not a real like airsoft or it's not a real weapon. I don't know. It says the fireworks were in a shopping cart, which the man doused with an accelerant and lit on fire. He also, quote unquote, menaced nearby pedestrians with the airsoft rifles. Mayor Zoran Mamdani called the incident deeply disturbing, saying, quote, I'm relieved no one was seriously injured and that a suspect is in custody. My team is in touch with the NYPD and will support the federal investigation. How about you support ICE agents and stop, the rhetoric that leads to this type of shit? There's no other way to put it.
How about you support Americans and we can all work together to get the criminal invaders out of our nation?
Well, they're not going to do that. So that's the whole democratic socialist communist takeover is, great replacement theory. And we'll get into that from your own representative out there in Colorado, future representative in Colorado, in the 1st district. So, but here's the video of the event.
You got the commie. You got the commie in the news lineup today. Nice. Love it.
I do. Kind of part of a continuation of my next.
Sorry, one of the commies. It's a communist country here. So
I think they're every single one of them. I mean, the guy running for governor, Marx, has it in his name, even though he's not a commie. He's totally not a commie.
He's a Republican. He's going to make everything great again, except he's not, because he doesn't know anything. And also he is the establishment.
All right, here's the video of the events transpiring yesterday. Just happened to be catching it on TV and dump a bucket.
Kind of catches his foot on fire a little bit.
I know. I was hoping that it would have went more than that.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Clearly a foreigner screaming that too.
Get away from there!
Are those cops?
I think so.
Yeah. How'd this guy not get shot?
Oh my god! Get away from there!
There's already cops on him right now.
There.
They've got him right there.
Okay, the foreign voiceover makes me think the whole thing is fake.
Apparently he's like an army vet or something.
Get away! Oh my god!
Oh, the little lab. What's the lab gonna do? That's not a Malinois.
Wall him.
Lab. No, get the lab out of there. That's a bomb detecting dog, man. That's not an attack dog. That's not a bite dog.
God.
You
Tell
need
me
a
a bomb detecting dog can't moonlight as an attack dog? I think they probably can.
No, they're not trained for that.
I think all dogs have it in them to be attack dogs.
No, there's very specific trainings for these dogs. Very specific training.
I know. Guy lives across the street from me trains Malinois.
Well, that's a bite dog.
Yeah.
Malinois psychos, man.
That's the kind of bite dog you need. If you need a bite dog, that's the kind you want is Malinois.
Tango's half Malinois, but he can't bite anything. He's just a sweetheart.
No, get away from there. Get away from there.
The funny thing is like there's these videos online that call like Australian cattle dogs Malinois that smoke unfiltered cigarettes and drink bottom shelf whiskey because they're like psychos like Malinois, but they're much more compact, I guess. Anyways, so that that right there, the New York City ICE activists will lead into the next segment here as we get into some of the immigration news from the Gateway Pundit. Nearly 50 House Republicans push a bill that grants de facto amnesty to illegal alien farm workers present in the U.S. as of May 31st.
So those are the workers that pooped on all the lettuce that made everyone sick, right?
I got that story pulled up too, but I did not make that correlation. Correlation is not causation.
We should definitely give them amnesty for sure.
The legislation would grant de facto amnesty to illegal alien farm workers who were unlawfully present in the United States as of May 31st, 2026. There are 53 total co-sponsors, 49 Republicans and 4 Democrats, and it is currently sitting in the House Judiciary Committee. Now, the most controversial section would allow illegal aliens already living in the United States to obtain H-2A agricultural work status by waiving multiple grounds of inadmissibility and deportability. Deportability.
Yeah.
The bill provides waivers for certain immigration violations committed before an alien receives their H-2A status, provided they otherwise qualify. Now, to qualify, an applicant must have either voluntarily departed the United States or have been unlawfully present in the country on May 31st, 2026, while having performed agricultural labor for at least 5.75 hours per day during at least 180 days over the previous 2 years. That is going to be very difficult to prove. I live in South Florida. I used to go down to Homestead all the time, where there's a ton of everybody's a migrant worker in Homestead. Like English is a second language down there. It's all just pastures of farmland, plant nurseries, that kind of thing. And I've gone down there many, many times. These people are not paid on the books. You are not going to be able to prove that these people worked 5.75 hours per day for at least 180 days. You're not even going to be able to prove that they worked for you, period.
It's funny you think that matters.
Oh,
because,
no. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to do it, but so how are they going to get around that? Is
They'll
it
just write it down? They just promise?
Exactly.
It's an attestation. They will attest that they worked those hours on that many days, and nobody's going to check, because nobody ever checks anything like that, because bureaucracy is both corrupt and lazy.
Correct. It also protects employers from certain civil and criminal liability related to previously employing unauthorized workers if those workers apply for the H-2A status under the bill. So you're now incentivizing people, like, we're going to give you amnesty from breaking the law for however long as your employers admit that they broke the law and apply for their amnesty from breaking the law.
Well, that's exactly it. Changing incentives is a matter of carrots and sticks, right? You offer the carrot. We had we'll give you hundreds of dollars. I think at one point they were getting a couple $1,000s to voluntarily deport, right? They changed the CBP Home app from a reason to stay to your path out of the country. Carrots, 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 carrots. Where are the sticks?
Reading on, it says employment records submitted to establish eligibility generally could not be used against employers in enforcement actions in prior unlawful employment, except in cases involving fraudulent records. Now, a lot of these people will have fraudulent records because the ones that are on the books shouldn't have been on the books. And so the only reason they're on the books is because they've obtained somebody else's social security number, somebody else's identity. This happens all the time. Again, for many, many years in my late teens and early 20s before I joined the Marine Corps, I lived in this environment, and this is just the way it's happened down here. So again, the fraudulent records thing is quite interesting, whether or not people are going to apply using their fake identities, just completely envelop that person at that point, I guess. Among its provisions, the bill would allow labor certifications lasting up to 3 consecutive years, permit staggered entry and exit dates for the H-2A workers. And this is the best part. So even if you do back your employees to get them this status, it will allow H-2A workers to transfer to another qualifying agricultural employer before final approval. So you're not even vouching for somebody that's going to be then committed to staying for your working for your company. The shocking thing about this, Ash, first and foremost, only 4 Democrats co-sponsored this bill. That's kind of shocking because the Democrats were the ones that came out and said, who's going to pick our crops? Who's going to pick our lettuce? Right. They were the ones saying all that. But here's the thing. The fact that this is a Republican bill co-sponsored by almost 53 Republicans. There's one thing that I think this bill is trying to do here. And, but despite being a mass, going against President Trump's agenda hugely, the other thing it's going to do is fracture the GOP going into the midterms. Like you're going to have, and now granted, this bill is still in judiciary, so who knows what's actually going to happen to it, but you're going to have the people on one side saying, hey, this is not what we signed up for. Like, there's no exemptions for this just because you need your slave labor at your constituents that are lobbyists that own these big agricultural firms. That's not what we signed up for with this. We start allowing these exemptions, and it turns into the same thing that TPS was for the Haitians and the Syrians and the Venezuelans and the Nicaraguans. It turns into 20 years of somebody being here because, of one little problem. So I'll land that there. But this is designed, I believe, to fracture the GOP.
Yeah, well, so I think the GOP is doing a great job of fracturing itself. Also, I think the GOP is generally not real. It's just the right wing of the uniparty. But I go back to the carrots and sticks. Why would anybody abide by any of the conditions or enforcement mechanisms of this new plan when the conditions and enforcement mechanisms of the last plan didn't matter? When there's, this threat of deportation, and then you just wait long enough and the illegitimate lawmakers decide that we can go in a different direction. Now you don't really have to leave, and just, give us a pinky promise, sign your name. If you can't sign your name, a smiley face or an X will do. And, just say that you're going to abide by whatever rules. And if you don't, nothing will happen to you. That is why there is a crisis of public trust, because who the hammer does come down on, who the consequences of not following the law do affect? Americans. American citizens. Yeah, we don't get the law changed for us for special conditions to help us out. But it's not the foreigners. I mean, sure, let's give them all a reason to stay, and maybe they can poop on more stuff, and then we won't be able to eat lettuce and strawberries or something. That'll be fun. But the reality is that their legitimacy is in question, and they keep doubling down on proving that they're illegitimate.
Yep, I'm with you. Let's jump into this clip here before we get into the story. So there was a woman, a grandmother, that was detained by ICE, and this media report and the propaganda surrounding it went viral on social media. And of course, this will lead to more of these anti-ICE protests. Oh, you're arresting a grandmother, illegal alien, an old lady that's going for cancer treatment. Watch this.
A woman's encounter with ICE in Chaparral is sparking concern. Take a look. The incident happened Wednesday morning at an Allsup's convenience store in Chaparral. Video posted by FitFam to Instagram indicates that the woman went into the store asking for help after she believed she was being followed by ICE agents. A short time later, Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Removal Operation agents can be seen speaking with her. A person in the Instagram's comments who identified themselves as a woman's daughter claimed her mother has lived legally in the United States for more than 35 years and had stopped for gas while on her way to a chemotherapy appointment. That person also claimed agents asked for proof of the appointment, and according to the family, the woman's doctor immediately provided the documentation and agents were reviewing the information. KTSM has not independently verified these claims.
Okay, wait, I haven't seen this, but just based on that report, so I don't know what's coming next. You have the rest of the story. I don't know what the rest of the story is. Just based on that reporting, I'm going to call bullshit, because you had every emotional trigger, every piece of emotional blackmail packed into that news report. Got the old grandmother. She's been here 35 years. She has cancer. Her doctors are like, oh my gosh, she needs this chemo right now. She's going to die. And ICE just decided to be evil to her anyway. I'm going to say that this isn't real.
Yes, you are correct.
Nailed it.
Well, I mean, it might be real, but there's a real reason.
Meth trafficking.
ICE confirms Chaparral arrest of green card holder had meth trafficking conviction. In a statement, ICE said that the arrest took place as a targeted immigration enforcement operation. Maybe they subpoenaed her chemo records and was like, you know what? They should let her go to chemo, have the chemo treatment, and then deport her.
So, was she trafficking meth all 35 years that she was in the country?
Well, no, we don't know that for sure, but the story's in here. It says, according to ICE, Martha Cias, a Mexican national and lawful permanent resident, has a prior conviction for methamphetamine trafficking. Oh, well, it's probably just like a
Just the one time I was very concerned and scared.
couple little baggies in her pocket, right? Like maybe, I don't know, just walking down the street and just happened. No.
Just for personal use.
As a criminal alien, she is subject to removal proceedings. Quote, possessing a green card is a privilege, not a right, ICE said. Under our nation's law, our government has the authority to revoke a green card if our laws are broken and abused. So again, it's probably just a little baggy, right? Well, according to documents, on January 12th, 2022, so this is recent, Cias crossed from Ciudad Juarez to El Paso through the El Paso del Norte border bridge, driving a Ford Expedition with her husband. Officers said they noticed something was off with the SUV's rear door panels after a portable x-ray scan. Cias told officers she had just gone to Juarez to sign up some customers for OmniLife supplements, just part of the pyramid scheme that she's probably using to launder money. After a second inspection, officers discovered 18 bundles of meth weighing about 20 poundos. I don't know how to say pounds in Spanish.
Poundos is great. I
Pounds.
think you should stick with that.
Libros. I think it's actually libros, but I'm not sure. 20 pounds hidden inside the two rear door panels.
Just personal use, Brian. Just for personal use.
On October 27th, 2025, Cias pled guilty to manufacturing/delivery of a controlled substance. She was sentenced to 10 years probation and 400 hours of community service. What the fuck?
Oh my gosh. Are we in Texas? Are we in California? Where are we? I mean, she crossed in Juarez, but
Texas.
In Texas, they gave her 10 years of probation for 20 pounds of meth.
Federal government. Joe Biden's administration, 20 pounds of meth across the border.
No, that's October 27th, 2025.
Well, the arrest came from
the deal was during the Trump administration.
That's fair. Good point. But she was arrested during Biden.
And then, of course, they decided to toss her out of the country. So, they redeemed themselves.
Yeah. Well, I mean, October 27th, 2025, you can't, I'm sure the deal was already, the process was already beginning before the administration switch over.
October, Brian.
Yeah, you can't assume that every single facet of DHS and Border Patrol and everything else is all of a sudden going to just completely flip after Trump assumes office. Maybe she gave some information about the origins. Who knows? But that's unacceptable under any administration. Smuggling 20 pounds of methamphetamine across the U.S. border.
How'd the husband get off?
Exactly. I haven't gotten to that yet. The charges against the husband were dropped. Ash read ahead. So
how?
I don't know.
Like what? You know what I think too? Like who's paying for that chemo? 2, when they roll these people up, we should not just get their criminal record. We should also get a record of what U.S. benefits they're using. So it should be like, so-and-so has a trafficking conviction that she pled guilty to for 20 pounds of meth, and also was on Medicaid and food stamps and accepting, like, that's the report that we should get.
I agree.
You want to change? Hey, Trump administration, Tom Homan, if you're listening, you guys want to change hearts and minds about the people that you're mass deporting, put that report out. Give us the criminal convictions, and they all have at least the one criminal violation of entering the country illegally, and the second one of being here unlawfully. Give us the full criminal record, but also give us a rundown of how much that individual is costing the American people. And what is it that, the people that are pooping in the lettuce, are we also paying for their meth habit via snap trades? Like we deserve more. You want to change hearts and minds on this issue? Give us more information.
Can we explain also how she's been here 35 years and is still on a green card?
Yeah, that's a great point.
35 years.
Bureaucracy is the answer to criminal bureaucracy.
35 years still on a green card. That's
she was on her way to chemo. She was on her way to chemo, and these stormtroopers rolled up and snatched her and threw her in a van. Actually, she was a meth trafficker, and we're
20
probably
pounds.
paying for that chemo.
And that's just the time they got caught. How many other times has she been into Juarez and didn't get caught? Because they didn't catch it, they didn't do the scan or whatever the case might be, or it was just this one time. I'm sure. Maybe they figured
the first time that you traffic meth, it's usually 20 pounds.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're going to give you 20 pounds right off the rip. I wonder if this was part of that, the meth fentanyl bust. Remember that bust that we heard about? Like, and whatever happened to that, by the way? We talked about this a couple weeks ago, and like nobody gave, like, that story just disappeared.
Huh.
Did you hear about this story?
I don't think so.
The DEA was tracking fentanyl into New Mexico and let it go. They let it go, and deaths in New Mexico spiked. Everywhere else in the country, fentanyl deaths were collapsing, and in New Mexico, where the DEA was running this operation, they witnessed these busts, and they said, it's better for us not to catch them. Let's just track them and get after the main supplier.
Do we know who the decision maker was on that? Because that person should be investigated, prosecuted, convicted, and incarcerated. That's the nicest thing that should happen to them.
It'll be Fast and Furious Part 2, except this case actually killed Americans besides Brian Terry. He was the Border Patrol agent that was killed by one of these firearms. This directly, people consuming the fentanyl. Now, granted, I believe there's other reasons that they want fentanyl on the streets, and I firmly believe that culling the population is fine with them in a lot of these situations.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's the inner city crack epidemic all over again. It's just that fentanyl is way, way worse.
Yeah.
And there, you think, oh, well, those, and this is not my position. This is something that a lot of people will hold the idea that, oh, well, those junkies, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, you're hooked on drugs, you're using fentanyl, getting people hooked on fentanyl was a targeted operation, unbelievably addictive drug, and we should have empathy and compassion for it. We should also prosecute the people that are doing this to our society, because it is not just like the narcotics trafficking of the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. It is not, the Cartel de los Solis, who's who's just it's our own intelligence communities. It's kind of the original inception of Operation Gladio, right? It had to do with getting Americans hooked on drugs.
Well, that's a lot of the South American part. The actual inception of Gladio was in Italy with the communist takeover over there, but then it turned into Northwood and other operations that took place throughout South and Central America, and that was the whole plan of that, to get the whole country hooked on drugs and hip hop music. The two coincided hand in hand. The psychological operations ran against inner city blacks and Hispanics to keep that going. I still I can't believe that story, the DEA story, did not get more attention. It just disappeared. I mean, Fast and Furious
follow
has
up on that.
power. Yeah.
I want to know who the decision maker was, and I want to know why that decision was acceptable and what has happened to that person for making it.
Yeah.
And that's what I think, Brian, that we need to start doing across the board when it comes to evaluating the government is stripping it down to who holds the decision rights and who made the decision, because they exist in a sea of plausible deniability. It's all the Spider-Man meme pointing the fingers at somebody. Oh, it wasn't that. Okay. Well, you know what? Mistakes were made on all sides, and we learned our lessons. And so, we're going to make some process changes, and everything's fine, and nobody ever gets held accountable. So it continues. What we have to do, I believe, is strip it down to the decision rights. Who was the decision maker? Where does the buck stop? The buck needs to stop somewhere.
But so it's just like the documents we got with the election stuff, right? We're going through those documents. I'm writing an article on one of them. I've decided I'm putting it out into probably at least a 4-part series, and I'm about halfway done with the first part. But reading through the documents, all the names are redacted. And that's the same thing they're going to do with any public accountability to any of these institutions, DEA, DHS, any of them. We have to redact the agents' names. No bullshit. They are public servants. They work for the American people. When you do something that is grossly negligent and has cost Americans their lives, your face needs to be owned. You need to own that. This was a decision, if you read those reports, that they knowingly allowed deadly fentanyl drugs. I mean, we're talking like tires full, like the whole inside of a tire was filled with fentanyl. And they're like, oh, let them go through. We'll just track it. And they never tracked it. We never got any accountability. We never got arrests for it. We got it distributed throughout communities. And you know, the evidence of fentanyl deaths in these New Mexico cities spiking while everywhere else in the United States it's dropping. There needs to be accountability for that. And to be perfectly clear, I don't think it's okay because you killed Americans, but at the very least, give us what the results of this were, right? Fast and Furious. Did we ever get anything that we got as a result of tracking these firearms? Did we ever have any Sinaloa cartel members busted as a direct result of Fast and Furious? Do we have anything from the DEA bus here? Or was it just a way to allow those fentanyl drugs to continue to pour across our border? Because a lot of these bureaucrats are bought and paid for by the cartels themselves.
Yep. Agreed.
It's disgusting, man. So, all right. So we got the story, and I'm glad Ash saw through it right away with the little violin playing. She's going to chemo.
My grandmother was on her way to chemo, and the stormtroopers rolled her up.
She's
you're giving me, you're overselling the emotional aspect of this story. You're full of shit.
So here's another one from Fox News. A legal immigrant who murdered a Michigan woman sues President Trump, demanding $75 million, a public apology, and U.S. citizenship.
Is this guy still in our nation?
This is not the Babylon Bee. I promise. This is not satire. This is real, although it is satirical. It is absolutely satirical. An illegal immigrant is serving a lengthy prison sentence. Brandon Ortiz Vite was previously deported from the United States and is now serving 39 to 102 years for killing Ruby Garcia back in March of 2024. In a handwritten complaint filed in federal court, this guy's like, I'm taking it old school here. I got a pen and quill.
It's in the rules. You can absolutely submit court filings in handwriting.
I know, but it's just hilarious that's how it's done. And
in English or Spanish?
Right. Filed in federal court, Ortiz Vite named Trump and the White House principal deputy press secretary Stephen Chung as defendants. In Vite's case, it highlighted that Trump, during his remarks back in Grand Rapids in 2024, labeled Ortiz Vite as, quote, America's problem. Fact check true.
Is that the defamatory statement?
No, it goes on. He said he also featured Ortiz Vite's mugshot in commercials as an example of murderers, rapists, and drug traffickers. Also fact check true.
Yeah, truth is an absolute defense.
Yes, who resided illegally in the United States. He was mocked by prison staff and other inmates. I don't want to hear mocked. I want to hear a lot more than mocked, dude. You killed an American citizen. Well, I don't even know.
You have to do the accent on the quote.
No, I'm not doing the accent.
Come on.
Not on daily.
Okay, I'll do it.
Oh, God.
I was put into category. Who I was as person no longer mattered. What only mattered was my race, he wrote. My case and immigration status. Once again, it belittled me, shattered my dignity, and what I was as a person.
Are you Russian or Mexican?
A little of both. You know, the Russians are the big bad for all of the ops, Brian. So
the shame it brought to my family name is a reality that I have to live with now. You mean murdering somebody didn't bring shame? It was the fact that the president put your mugshot up there and said you're a murderer. That's what brought your family shame. What? You're not making your case here, buddy. You're not making your case.
He did murder this person, right?
Yes,
he's convicted. He's serving 102-year prison sentence. So that is a found fact. And talking about that, current events, talking about that is First Amendment protected. This is the problem with foreigners thinking that they're so entitled to the American way of life, is that they don't understand how American rights work. If U.S. taxpayer dollars are used in any way to enable this atrocity of the justice system, whoever makes those decisions should be investigated, prosecuted, convicted, and incarcerated.
Agreed. Again, that's purely satirical. Clearly, that case has no shot of even being heard. Like, the judge is going to look at it and be like, swish.
I mean, it depends on which judge, Brian.
Judge Sparkles.
Sparkle would let him out.
Sparkle would be like, yo, this man is clearly innocent.
Clearly innocent. Yeah.
The abuses
in fact,
from
the fact that the president mocked him and that made his feelings hurt while he's serving 102-year prison sentence means we should probably just overturn that conviction and let him out. Put him near a school. I would like to thank KCA in the desert for understanding the brilliance of my accent. And to the rest of you, eat the entire satchel of Richards.
I mean, Ash was literally bashing on my accents yesterday. My Speedy Gonzalez was way better than that.
I know, but I love the joke of it is that your Venezuelan accent sounds a little bit Chinese, but that's great because the Chinese are running the Venezuelans, but you know who's running them all, Brian?
Cubans are running them all.
Where have I heard that story before?
I don't have that story. I'm saving that story for Friday. Deliberately, because I have not had an opportunity.
Well, that'll be hilarious.
I think it's going to be absolutely awesome. All right, so again, clearly satirical. By the way, here is the news that Ash's future congresswoman, the communist, what's her name?
Malat Quiros.
Quiros.
She is a radical commie, and the DSA is very excited about her. Rising star.
Also, Great Replacement Theory is totally a conspiracy theory. There's no truth to it whatsoever. But all of these illegal immigrants and foreigners need to be the ones ruling our Congress.
I think it's particularly important, not just for our community in Tigray, but communities of the global South, period, right? There's a certain reckoning that we are going to have with the global world order as it exists today and the way that it fundamentally will have to shift going forward. Right? The responsibility that we have as Americans, the recognition that is going to be required of us, of the exploitative and extractive nature that we play on the global scale and the global stage is only going to be challenged if we are getting represented by people who understand that on a fundamental level, right? And that means getting more immigrants into office. That means getting more people who have heritage in the global South into office, because that's where those decisions are made specifically. I think it's.
I mean, there it is, man.
They aren't hiding it.
Exactly. The globalist takeover. We need to get all the foreigners in our government, in our lawmaking capacity, in order to water down the weight of American sovereignty, of the American individual. Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah. Very dangerous. They aren't hiding it, and it's very far along, right? So here in that speech was taking place in Denver. Brian brought up Colorado, not me.
So do I have to drink or what?
They view everybody should drink. They view Zohar Mamdani as the hero, as the kind of standard to achieve. That is what these people are pushing for, is socialism broadly. And it's quite astounding when you realize how far along it is, that we've been flirting with socialism. We have the safety nets. We've been flirting with different policies. The rhetoric still talks about socialism is we need to fight against. So we can't let socialism get a foothold here. We've been becoming increasingly more socialist since the end of World War II. It's been in acceleration mode for the past 25 years. And we're now seeing people like Malat Quiros standing up and saying, this is the time. I've been writing in the Badlands news brief, or Badlands brief now, we dropped the news. from the title of it, for a long time now about the DSA rising. It's not that they're coming in; they've been in. What used to happen, and this is again my kind of local experience, is you would have a regular Democrat run for office, they would win, and then they would resign immediately, and they'd put in a DSA person. And we saw it was in like 2021, 22, 23. It was crazy how many vacancy appointments were legislators, because that's not representation at all, right? And now they're getting elected. Diana DeGette was the congresswoman from CD1 before Malat Kiros kicked her out in the primary, and she was there for 30 years. It's a very safe blue seat. That district is definitely not going red. So it's perfect to pop in a socialist, but they don't have to appoint her. She was able to be elected now. And people don't realize how far along this is. I actually find it encouraging. I think that her talking about having a reckoning with the global world order is something that we talk about. We're not talking about the same thing, but it's the same idea that the global control of the decision rights, the global holding of decision rights, kind of subversively and without the people even realizing it, has been a problem. She says it's a problem for the global South. I think it's a problem for the world. But what I like, the thing I find encouraging is if there is a success on the DSA side of dismantling the entrenched establishment interests within the left wing of the Uniparty, we're already doing that on the right. And that might be what it takes to get this two-party dynamic out of the way so we can actually fight on the battlefield of ideas, because it is the Democrat Party that's propped up the DSA for so long. As I said, they put them in through vacancy appointments. They built this, they grew it. And it's the battle that's coming.
Yeah, that's something you and I have talked about a lot, is, kind of the horseshoe theory. Ghost. I think Ghost was the one that first brought that here to Badlands. But the horseshoe theory of, the populist left and the populist right being so far to each side, but eventually meeting in the middle, and under the idea of abolishing the establishment, right? Breaking up and right now what we're seeing, this is a really interesting time for this, because we're seeing the old guard. We're seeing a changeover from the old guard, right? We're seeing Pelosi. She's going to be out here soon. Lindsey Graham just died in office. Dianne Feinstein died in office. Mitch McConnell's about to die in office if he hasn't already, right? We're seeing the old guard. I mean, seriously, we're seeing the old.
I'm with you. It's just hilarious that that's actually a real thing, right? Like, we don't know if he's alive or not.
We don't know if he's dead or alive. Yeah. But you're starting to see that happen. Now, here's the thing is we're, and think in terms of Strauss and Howe, right? The fourth turning. Yeah. Think of, and kind of narrow it down just to our politics right now. And we're seeing the turnings, right? And, I think that what we're seeing right now is, getting out, remember, help Ashe understand CannCon, what?
High awakening,
unraveling
crisis.
And the crisis.
God, every time I forget about that.
I've never forgotten that. I've never forgotten that acronym for how to understand the turnings. Help Ashe understand CannCon. High awakening, unraveling, crisis. And I think we're seeing the turnings unfold right in front of us, because guess what? As the DSA is going to have a run at power here in some, whether it's AOC, whether
they've Mamdani.
Yes, Mamdani. But right behind them, you've got whatever Gen Alpha. They're based AF, and they're going to be coming up here. And I think it's a much more micro, turning cycle here as opposed to the macro Strauss and Howe concept. So I just thought it's really interesting. But the like you said, the good part of it, by the way, MAGA also appears in some form or fashion to be on that same trajectory right now. And you're seeing that with the factions that are, going out there and pushing back against President Trump. There's an absolute divide in MAGA itself right now. You go on X and there's certain things, like if you're pro-Israel or you're pro-Palestine, right? And there are MAGA voices out there that are like, I'm
pro-America,
full blown, right? Bingo. but they're still creating these factions.
Yeah.
And it's
anything to keep us distracted from fighting the government.
Yes.
Anything we can do. Oh, look over there. It's Venezuela now. It's China. Wait, are you supporting genocide in Gaza? Why are you, what are you, Iranian? You love the Russians. Why do you hate Ukrainians? I listen, man. I just want to actually shine a light on where the decision makers are, who are the people making the decisions, because more often than not, they're Americans, or they are globalists whose decision rights were unlawfully delegated to them by Americans. And in that exchange, we still should be focused on the Americans. There are, this is the thing. And, I know we'll eventually make this show Why We Vote, because all shows are Why We Vote now.
Not today.
How dare you?
I know.
Well, we actually have Why We Vote today.
I was about to say it's because we have Why We Vote today. Yeah. We have a fantastic guest on that's going to really.
Oh, I don't even know. Do I know who the guest is?
Catherine Engelbrecht is going to be on to talk about the China stuff.
Fantastic.
So
that's going to be great.
Must watch.
Yeah, everybody should tune into that. But here's the thing: there are so many narrative deployments right now trying to get Americans distracted and looking somewhere else. You can look at the domestic enemy that's a lawful political party and fight on that. Go join a campaign team and fight to get somebody elected through a fake election. Or you can be distracted by one of these foreign ops. What you cannot do is point a finger at the government and talk about the government power, and again, the decision rights. Who's holding the decision rights? Who's making the decisions that have gotten us here and that are attempting to keep us here? Because that should be our only focus. From a justice phase standpoint, is finding who are the Americans. Prosecute the Americans. You want this never to happen again? Make an example. Make a lot of examples.
It's crazy, man. That would actually be a pretty interesting culture change episode right there. The DSA versus the MAGA faction and the populist horseshoe theory. Because you could draw.
You want to come on and do it?
You could draw. I'd be down for that. You could draw a lot of historical connections between stories were told about different periods in our history versus what they actually were. And how they've been portrayed over time. So yeah, that would be a fascinating conversation. But
one more thing on the Malat Kiros and the whole DSA rising thing is, as it stands right now, and this really comes down to the balls Americans need to have, as it stands right now, if you try to step up to a Malat Kiros or a Mamdani or have that conversation, she's saying we need to have a reckoning. We need to have a conversation. If you and I try to participate in that conversation, we will be called racist. We will be shunned. We will be, we will have all sorts of consequences that have nothing to do with the actual discussion, the conversation we need to have about decision rights in our nation. That instead, we will have a diversion tactic of you're a racist, you're a terrorist, you're an election denier. Oh my gosh, how dare you be an election denier? Notice DSA's trust elections. Crazy.
Did you... okay, I'm going off on another tangent because you just brought something up there about the conversations. Did you see Stephen Richards' post on X about going on the Stephen?
And told him he's welcome back anytime. Come on, buddy, we miss you.
So Stephen Richard,
our favorite sinister gingers.
He came on our show back in December, I think it was, to talk about elections, and he was on with Kevin Monclo, who was one of the
got bodied.
He was one of the drafters of the complaint in Fulton County that led to the search warrant. And he got absolute bodied by me, Ash, and me and Ash kind of remained relatively neutral. I mean,
you were more neutral than I was, for sure.
That's a fact. But he got bodied.
Shocked him, sir, I'm sure.
And then at the end, he attributed it to being unprepared for certain parts of the conversation and being very narrow focused on one specific issue, blah, blah, blah.
Georgia.
Well, he put out
focused on Georgia, the former recorder of Arizona County, Maricopa. Sorry.
Right. But he was more focused on the poll tapes specifically. And again, I bodied him on that because, that's, something I've written about extensively for 3 or 4 years now. But it was only new when the Federalist put it out 6 months ago. That's the only time that's ever been talked about. The first time, breaking news, siren emojis.
And people don't realize that happens to Brian a lot.
all the time, all the time, especially on election stuff. The more election stuff comes out, the more it's like, hey, just go back and look at my articles from 3 years ago. But anyways, so Steve Gruber has him on. Now, I have not watched the show, to be crystal clear here, but Richard came out after and is like, I always love it when somebody in the MAGA, crowd is willing to come out and have a conversation, and my DMs are open for everyone, and I love to have these. So I'm assuming the show went relatively well for Richard, which means one thing: Gruber has no idea about elections. And that is the thing. These people will go on generic podcasts to talk to people generically where they're going to be unchallenged.
Yeah.
And like the point you were making with Kairos, she won't actually have a conversation with somebody that will challenge her. She'll only have a conversation with somebody where she can opine her own personal feelings without any pushback whatsoever. And that is the problem. And that is why it's very difficult for us to find opposition guests on Why We Vote and other platforms like that, because they know that we're going to do our research beforehand, and we're not just going to be like, please tell us, propagandize us about all the garbage that you want to spew. And we'll just be like, oh, I never thought of it that way.
That is what they want.
Yes.
It is not what they get. And it's why they will, if they will talk to us at all, it will be exactly one time.
Yep.
Yeah. This happened to me a bunch in local Colorado. Oh, I want to talk to you about elections. And then we do. And it's like, oh, shit. And then they never invite me back.
Yep. All right. Let's jump into the next clip here. Speaking of Mamdani, whatever his name is.
Zoran.
Always
makes me think of the
Zohan.
What is that?
You never seen well, this is from Dude, Where's My Car?
Zoltan. That I've never seen, but I was thinking
never seen
of
Dude, Where's My Car?
No, your entire generation's movie suck. Just a reminder to the audience, Brian said that Zoolander is a better film than The Princess Bride. So do not take his recommendations on American cinema. And anyway, The Arcade Sultan. Thank you, Maggravator. That is where I was going with, was the arcade from the movie Big. Yeah,
I'm not that old. We're the same generation, pretty much.
We're not.
Big. I remember
our movie taste beg to differ.
Ash, Bo Bash, Banana, Nana, Faux Fash. Okay. Anyways, let's get into this clip here. So Mamdani is talking about Netanyahu and whether or not he's going to arrest them, and the Iran consulate, and all the other stuff that's been happening over the past few weeks here.
I was reading your interview over the weekend, and wanted to.
By the way, he makes I don't know if this is a Freudian slip or what, but listen.
Ask you more about your conversations with the your legal department about potentially arresting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. I just want to know just what your feelings are when you look at, for example, your administration also reaching out to the Prime Minister of, the Ambassador of Iran, just how you, reconcile the two of being so critical of the Israeli Prime Minister, but at the same time meeting with the Ambassador of Iran.
So I want to first clear up a few things. Our administration did not reach out to the Prime Minister of Iran. Our administration received a request from the Iranian consulate, and as soon as I heard of that, I made it clear that we are not meeting and we will not meet with the Israeli consulate here in New York City.
You caught that too?
Yeah, he was talking about the Iranian one, and then he said the Israel. So they reached out, and he made it clear we won't be meeting with Israel. There's a couple ways that could go, but I wonder, did he make a promise to the Iranian consulate that he wasn't going to be meeting with Israel? Because are we talking that sounds Logan-y?
That's what I was wondering. What do we have going on here? Was that a Freudian slip where he was talking about Iran, and then it just popped into his head that Israel? Or, like you said, was Iran reaching out and just saying, hey, make sure you don't meet with Israel? And he's like, okay, we won't meet with Israel.
Yeah.
And so now he has that plausible deniability when this does actually come out. He's like, no, I said that clear as day, when everybody was thinking, oh, he just slipped up. Israel, Iran kind of got him confused a little bit there. Also, he's making it sound like Iran reached out to him and they were like, no. That's bullshit. It was on the calendar for him to meet with him, and the State Department had to come in and be like, the fuck you are. You're not meeting with Iran.
Oh man, I wish they would have let him go forward with the meeting, let it take place, and then arrest them and throw them in a deep underground military prison.
Because I remember reporting on this a couple weeks ago, and I was like, first and foremost, the New York City mayor should not be. I mean, I understand there's foreign business that goes on in New York City, so I get that, but you shouldn't be meeting with a country first that we're at quote unquote war with. Also a country that we're sanctioned to the T, so you shouldn't be doing any business with them. But I digress. The whole switch there with Iran and Israel was kind of strange, and I wish somebody would have asked more questions about that. But
so you're saying the meeting with Iran didn't happen?
No, but it was scheduled to happen. The State Department came down and was like, no, you're not meeting with Iran. Now that's the way it's reported, to be clear. City Journal said they reviewed screenshots of the calendar of Mamdani. It was confirmed by the official. It was confirmed by another official. So that's what's within Mamdani's international affairs division.
That makes it appear that the slip is literally him mixing up Iran and Israel in his head. And it also makes me wonder, was he meeting with Iran or was he meeting with Israel?
Or right. Or was Iran making that request not to do business with Israel? Who knows?
Yeah, but if he didn't have if you're saying they didn't have the meeting and he said they made it clear that we're not going to meet with Israel, who'd they make it clear to?
Exactly. Maybe that's why they didn't need the meeting. I don't know.
And when it comes to Benjamin Netanyahu, we're speaking about someone who's the subject of an international criminal court arrest warrant. And he's the subject of this arrest warrant for alleged crimes against humanity, for war crimes, and he's the architect of the genocide against Palestinians in Gaza as Israel's prime minister. These are not facts of my personal assessment. They are facts of public record. And I believe that when someone is charged with an international criminal court warrant, it's something that should be taken seriously, whether it's Benjamin Netanyahu or it's Vladimir Putin or whomever else. What I've also made clear is that my administration will follow all applicable local laws. That is our commitment. That is something that we will follow through on when it comes to an adherence to local law. And that's all I have to add on that.
Thank you. And now we're going to go to Heather from News 12.
Are you looking at arresting anybody else on that list of people who've committed international war crimes?
My point is that if someone is charged with a warrant by the International Criminal Court for these kinds of crimes, that's something I believe that should be honored. And I've also said that we will follow our local laws.
I know. I was like, wow, get out of here, globalist. We
Not
are
only
a
that,
sovereign country.
It's not only that he gives legitimacy to the International Criminal Court, and it is now the policy of the U.S. government and the State Department via the State Department that the International Criminal Court is illegitimate, because it is something that we've been saying forever, ever since you and I have been doing shows together. I've always held this position. Decision rights and prosecutorial discretion and all of these judicial discretion do not get to be held at a global level. They do not get to be held over Americans by people outside the United States of America. But it's worse than that, because not only did he give great honor and credence to the International Criminal Court, but then he's like, well, we'll follow local laws. The Constitution of the United States of America, the laws of the United States of America, and the laws of the state of New York are not just local laws. Zoran, you globalist scumbag. Get out. Get out. Get out.
Yeah. So this is the State Department page. We're going to go just a tad bit out of order here, because
if you didn't tell anybody that, they wouldn't know. Just FYI.
Tell what?
That we were going out of order.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. State Department launches campaign to dismantle the International Criminal Court's threat to American sovereignty. The ICC poses an intolerable threat to U.S. sovereignty. It claims the authority to prosecute and even imprison American servicemen and officials operating on behalf of America's national interest. The ICC previously opened an investigation into U.S. servicemen and intelligence officers and has since refused to close these cases. Now, the actions under consideration include diplomatic calls from the Secretary of State and other members of senior leadership to foreign nations highlighting the abuses of the ICC and the risks posed to Americans and other nations, urging them to withdraw from the ICC. Nations that partner with American law enforcement, the U.S. military, or that enjoy the benefits of U.S. security umbrella are called upon to reject the ICC's purported authority. increased scrutiny of nations that refuse to reject the ICC's false authority while relying on U.S. assistance, diplomatic calls urging the nations that are not party to the Rome Statute to leverage their diplomatic networks, visa revocations and travel bans for ICC personnel, and then, of course, increased sanctions against ICC and affiliated organizations. How about you just tell them you're cut off? If you deal with the ICC, you're cut off. And if you take any U.S. service members or even our intelligence community, which I'm no fan of, but they're not subject to the scrutiny of an international globalist body, we will bomb you. We will bomb wherever they're being held. That is one case.
Zoran.
Ash, that is one.
Listen,
case.
Manhattan.
No, not Manhattan. But that is one case where I am okay with saying, hey, you're holding Americans at this place. Okay, we're not going to bomb you. We're going to send in SEAL Team 6. We're going to send in Delta Force, and we're going to get those guys out, and we will kill anybody that gets in our way. You do not have any authority over U.S. citizens, period.
Agreed. Also, globalism is treason. As I have argued many times, globalism requires that the United States bend its knees so the rest of the world can rise, and it requires that American sovereignty be yielded to global interests, whether those are other nations. Not usually. It's usually pseudo-governmental entities like the UN or the ICC and corporations. Global corporations are being yielded decision rights over U.S. sovereign decision rights. I think it's time that we recognize that this ideology, which has been devastating to Americans, we don't have to wonder what the effects of globalism will be on Americans. We can see it. We can feel it. You can see it in the house prices. You can see it in the supply chains. You can see it in across the board, and you can see it in the mind shift that's happened. And that's one of the most treasonous aspects of this. Zoran Mamdani is standing up, defending globalism, kind of sneering at the idea of U.S. sovereignty and local laws, and that, in my opinion, is treason. He is subverting his domain as New York City, the people of the 5 boroughs of New York City. He is subverting their interests. He is selling them out so that foreign interests collectively, right? The globalism is a set of foreign interests. They are not the interests of the United States of America or of America and its sovereign citizens. They are interests of foreigners, of decision rights being held somewhere else over American citizens. He is committing treason. Roll his ass up.
Yeah. By the way, when I say, foreigners
and all of his administration too, because they're all commies.
When I say U.S. citizens and service members, even intelligence officers that are being held by the ICC, I'm not talking about being held by a local country. If an intelligence officer is committing crimes against a country that they're operating in, and that specific country catches them violating their laws and breaking their crimes, and they're operating clandestine, whatever the case, then that's on that country. And that's, between our executive branch of the United States, not Zoran Mamdani, between our executive branch of the United States. And look, I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of Netanyahu. The mayor of New York City has no authority to arrest a foreign diplomat. And I'm not a fan of Netanyahu. I think he has a purpose in this thing. But for a mayor to come out and say, he's an ICC criminal. The ICC has declared him a criminal. The globalist body. Also, by the way, as we've often said on this show, the intelligence community is the Praetorian Guard of the globalist, agenda, the globalist community. And so when you see the ICC going after our intelligence operatives overseas, they're probably not the intelligence operatives aligned with the globalists, and they're probably, I would say, the good guys.
It's really hard to say with intelligence operatives in foreign nations who the good guys are. One thing, I think the distinction that you're making, and I think it's a good one, is that Americans are not above the law of other nations when they're in those other nations. But there can be no argument that, Americans are saying they're above international law, because international law isn't real. International law is illegitimate on its face, and it's this co-opted post-World War II pseudo governmental. They've been trying to get those decision rights since the 19th century. They've been trying to get those decision rights, and it's end stage for them now. They're closer than they've ever been. When we identify people inside of our country that are serving that foreign conglomerate, as opposed to the people that they are elected and paid by to represent here in the United States of America, that is a crime. That is not a difference of opinion. That's not freedom of thought or whatever. It's treason.
Yep. Here's this is from earlier last week, Wall Street Journal opinion that Rubio put out and drafted for the Wall Street Journal, why we're dismantling the International Criminal Court. And just read these paragraphs right here. Most of us would struggle to imagine a world in which U.S. soldiers, police officers, border patrol agents, and elected leaders could be dragged before an international court, tried by judges from random countries across the globe, found guilty under international laws we neither consent to nor control, and then imprisoned thousands of miles from America. But that is what the International Criminal Court now claims the power to do. The ICC was born at the turn of the century. At first, it was marketed as a narrow backstop to prosecute the gravest crimes. Now the ICC and its allies seek a standing world tribunal with near unlimited reach, empowered to override the courts and constitutions of the U.S. and other sovereign states, and to prosecute and arrest our citizens. Americans never agreed to any of this. And this is the whole problem. This is if you give a mouse a cookie, they'll want a glass of milk. And no, power never cedes power, right? They never concede back any of the power that you're giving them, and they only expand upon it. And that's what we're seeing right now with the ICC, with the World Health Organization, with the United Nations, with all of these globalist organizations. They think they are taking over the new world order, right? That's the whole continuation of it. And we finally have an administration that's literally saying, World Health Organization, afuera, right? To steal that from Javier Milei, afuera, cut that funding completely. United Nations, he's fracturing that right now. NATO fracturing that right now. The International Criminal Court. You see Rubio right there. Let's go. Continue this.
Agreed. Yeah, this is it's encouraging in a way, because it's so this discussion with Mamdani and the ICC and et cetera is happening at the same time that the State Department is rebuking the ICC, at the same time that, you're going to love this, the Shield of the Americas says that the sovereign will of the American people is the sole foundation of public power. So
electoral authorities.
Yeah, I know. We got to edit that part out.
Are you starting to capitulate that I was actually correct on that statement? And that's
absolutely not. Absolutely not. And as soon as you're quoting it to rebuke U.S. elections, it means I win. So we'll keep an eye on it.
Rebuke U.S. elections, but
you what?
I'm not quoting it to rebuke U.S. elections.
No, but you will. Is my point.
Yeah. No, when?
Okay. In the future. No. This is what I've said, is that when you inevitably invoke the language in the Shield of America's statement to rebuke U.S. elections, it means I win.
What statement do you think I'm going to use? Like, give me like AI, generate a statement that AI, Ashe intelligence.
You're going to be on a rant about something with regards to U.S. elections, and you're going to be like, even the Shield of America said that the will of the people at the ballot box is the sole foundation of public power. And the reason, Brian, is because
that is the most generic statement ever. That's not
no. This is the entire substance of our dispute on this. Is that my point? No. I said the whole thing reads like the ECPA. I did a whole show on this with John Drake. The whole thing reads like the Electoral Confidence Preservation Act, except that they've caveated what constitutes public power, and they've actually said sole foundation of public power out loud. They never say that. They never want you to think about it, Brian.
Hold on. So just to be clear here, your whole infatuation with this Shield statement is like 6 words long.
Is that one statement? Absolutely. And it was, go back to our argument on this. This is the whole dispute between us on this.
My argument has always been the United States calling someone else's the electoral authorities competent electoral authorities. The United States has no right to assert that about another country. That was my whole point in that.
No, your point on this was that it was the same language used in 2020, and you were dooming out because the Shield of the Americas was basically criminalizing election denialism again. My point on it was that they're caveating in a way that they never have, and they're actually pointing out where the sole foundation of public power is. That's new. Are you still there? You look frozen. Am I frozen? Who's frozen? Chat, am I frozen or is Brian frozen? Who's frozen? Brian is frozen? Okay. All right. So, well, that's actually really useful. So let's talk about how Brian is wrong. So, okay, good. All right. I'm 4x4. Does that mean you can hear me a little, but not all the way? He did say that his computer was being glitchy. So hopefully he'll reboot and come back. But the distinction that we had, and this was an argument that we had on, I think it was Why We Vote a couple weeks ago, when that Shield of the Americas announcement came out, and everybody can go back and watch it, because this has always been my position. And John Drake and I did an entire show on this last Monday, that the language used in that in the Shield of the Americas statement is different than language that they've ever used before. The whole statement reads like the Electoral Confidence Preservation Act. John Drake calls it a boop. John Harold agreed with him that it was a boop. I can get on board with it being a boop, because it does appear that they have pinched the language from the fake statute that we wrote for our Badlands jury experience and created the statement of Shield of the Americas demonizing election denialism. Because why are they concerned about election denialism? Because, and this is the statement that gets me excited, because the will of the people and the administration as administered by the competent electoral authorities, which is a caveat that I haven't heard them make before, the competent bit, constitutes the sole foundation of public power. They never want us thinking about the sole foundation of public power. They want us to be running around fighting about stupid levels of which narrative deployment they're putting at us to be upset at that point. Brian says do ads. He definitely doesn't want me to have the sole voice to speak to this dispute right now. I think that's I think that's a him problem. The thing is, I don't have the ads because I figured Brian would have all the ads because he always does. Let me see. Let's see what the ads are. Spreading her propaganda. It's not propaganda, Brian. It's just a fact. And everybody can go back and watch the show because it's all recorded. But I'm actually really excited about that statement. And I think that statement is purposeful. And it's not just the United States. It's the United States and 12 other nations that came together to say that the will of the people constitutes the sole foundation of public power. So I think that's something that everybody should consider. Okay. Oh, I don't have the Rumble Studio ad that you are referencing, and I don't have Telegram, so I can't grab it. So we'll do that one when you get back. But in the meantime, you know what's really, really good for friction? Moisturizing your soul and also hydrating your elbows.
One hero, one mission, to deliver softness to America.
No, Chi-Chi, we can't stop for snacks, dude. We have to deliver all of these soft disclosure gift cards.
He goes by Zach Kane.
The motion detector.
Hey, stop fighting over the beer brush.
Life finds a way.
Hit it. I'm back.
Yeah. Well, it was, everybody realizes that you conceded. So it's fine.
No. The power went out completely. Like I was expecting like a glitch. Yeah, the whole house went completely dark. Just
no.
Boom, like that. And of course,
it
came back
my
on
face.
like
It's so soft. What is
30
it?
seconds later. It came back on, but the router takes a minute to start back up. So yeah. Anyways, we are good to go. Softdisclosure.com, promo code Muffin. Hit it. We do have to talk about another sponsor here,
Well,
though.
before you talk about another sponsor, on softdisclosure.com, make sure that you are signed up for the email notifications. There are exclusive discounts for Soft Disclosure in those emails, review information, product information, all kinds of good stuff. And we will be dropping another exclusive discount later this week. So make sure you are signed up at softdisclosure.com.
All right, guys. Everybody is talking about weight loss injections because the results are oh so dramatic. They work by lowering blood sugar and reducing appetite. So what if you're looking to lose weight, but you're not interested in the painful weekly injections, especially when you hear about some of those intense side effects? That's why doctors created a weight loss supplement called Lean, and the results are remarkable. The studied ingredients in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar and burn fat by converting it into energy while curbing your appetite and cravings so that you're not as hungry. But listen, Lean is not for the casual dieter with only a few pounds to lose. The doctors at Brick House Nutrition created Lean for frustrated dieters with 10 or more pounds to lose. Let's get you started with 20% off and free rush shipping so you can add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan. And the links are right there. And I just realized a lot of my things are not working right on my screen. So there it is. Okay. The link is now pinned, I believe. Am I not seeing it? I'm not seeing it on my screen. Jessica, I'm not seeing the link pinned. Okay. Let's get back into the news. Again, I think if you go back and watch the arguments we had, I will be proven correct on this. I did not disagree with you on all of that.
You will realize very quickly that Ashe is correct.
Incorrect. So President Trump put this out in response to the Mamdani arrest.
Don't worry.
Okay. It wasn't showing up on my screen, so I just wanted to make sure. President Trump truth out. Benjamin Netanyahu will not be arrested in any way, shape, or form while in the United States of America. Interesting. He is fighting against the Islamic Republic of Iran, which recently killed 52,000 innocent protesters and has spent the last 47 years killing American soldiers and others. The only one that should be arrested are the people that led Iran into this unprecedented spiral of death and destruction, something that should have been dealt with years ago by previous presidents, President Donald J. Trump.
Who are those people?
Exactly. That is a great question.
It's not the only people that should be arrested are the leaders of Iran who are engaging in et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's the people that led Iran here. And it's interesting to think back to U.S. foreign policy towards Iran, going back to the past 3-4 presidential administrations. Who are the people that led Iran to this point? Interesting question.
I'm going with Mossad. With the expose of Soleimani, Ahmadinejad being Mossad assets, I'm going to go with it's probably intelligence communities, not just Mossad. CIA, I think, is also involved. Probably MI6.
The deep state intelligence apparatus, which includes intelligence operatives and I would argue probably decision makers from all 18 U.S. intelligence agencies, as well as the Five Eyes, Mossad, and other foreign intelligence, because those guys really are the shadow army of the cabal.
Correct. And I highlighted this yesterday. And we've got a whole bunch of segues here. Just the news, Netanyahu reportedly postpones U.S. trip after failing to get a Trump meeting. But then it goes on to say that Netanyahu's office said that he's rescheduled in order to coincide with the funeral of Lindsey Graham.
Oh, God, I was worried he was going to miss it.
He wouldn't miss that for the world.
Wouldn't miss it for the world.
He wouldn't miss that for the world. He's got to get after Darlene Graham now.
I mean, you've got to imagine Lindsey Graham is starting to smell at this point. This funeral is taking forever to pull off.
Yeah. Netanyahu, his skin tags are falling off.
Gross. I was so much happier when I didn't know what that reference was.
Netanyahu also delayed the trip after failed efforts in recent days to arrange a meeting between him and President Trump, according to I-24 News in Israel. No date has been finalized for a meeting, and no preliminary understandings reached regarding its agenda or expected outcomes, preparatory steps that are typically completed before summit between national leaders. Netanyahu on X said, quote, Lindsay understood that the security of Israel and America are inseparable. Bullshit. He devoted his life to defending America, strengthening our alliance, and standing up for the free world. Israel has lost one of its greatest friends. America has lost a great patriot. I have lost a beloved friend. Just friend.
That sister is running now. She's going.
Well, you're stealing my thunder. You're stealing my thunder. Nancy Mace, right after he died, like the second post about Lindsay that she put out, just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in, referencing the Godfather quote from, was it Godfather 3?
I don't know.
It was Godfather 3.
Everyone thought she was really insensitive about this, that it was insensitive of her to do this. I don't have any problem with it.
Well, I got news for you. She turned that sensitivity around and put this post out this morning.
I want to be straight with you. I'm not running for the U.S. Senate.
Yeah.
Because I'm backing down from a fight, but because the one I'm already in matters right now. The law is meant to protect me and other women who failed us, and I won't stop until that changes. So I'm not chasing another title. I'm chasing justice. Justice for me, justice for other women, and justice for every little girl who was told to stay silent. That's where my focus is today, and that's where it's going to stay. Serving South Carolina has been the honor of my life, and I will continue to voice our values everywhere I can.
Now, it was from this moment on, Ash, I swear, when I was watching this video, I had to go back and be like, wait, is this AI? And then realize that this is directly posted from Nancy Mace's ex.
I'm even going to shitpost from time to time because someone has to call out the dumbasses. Because if we don't, we as a country will be gone. I love you. I want to thank you for the thousands of calls and text messages and offers to help in a race like this. And I want to say God bless you. Serving you has been the honor of my life, and I will never forget it.
I mean, I'm okay with, with talking about shit posting and dumbasses, but not in your message, your official message to say that you are not running for the Senate. But hey, it's a new era of politics, and I'm all for it. I just had to do a double take on that. Like, did she really say shit posting and calling out dumbasses? But
I feel like for the past few years, she's been really desperate for relevance.
Yes.
She's, and I,
Pajama party. Remember the pajama party?
The pajama party was very, it was very Elle Woods, Legally Blonde kind of activity where she went. She was in a van with her little purse dog, and no hate on purse dogs, have one, but wearing her pajamas and all of that kind of stuff. But she, you and I covered it back when she did the, released her evidence of voyeurism that happened to her personally on the floor of the House in a speech where she can't be held accountable if what she's saying is false. She can't be, she could defame all of those guys. Let's just, accepting the opposite side, viewing evidence in the light most favorable to the non-moving party, as it were. That was egregious. And we had a real problem with it at the time. I still have a problem with it. And now, it seems like in that message, she's been told to stand down and back off, right? She's like, oh, good, I can run for Senate now. And the party apparatus was like, no, you're on voyeurism now. That's your lane. You get to go out there and fight this. Desperate for relevance, doesn't really see, it's sort of rudderless, doesn't really seem to have a long-term vision of who or what she wants to be, just doesn't want to be out of government, because let's face it, that's a real cushy gig.
I wonder if she'll make those assertions when she's out of Congress. Like if she'll go out there and say these men, sexually assaulted me, raped me, all these things. when, again, going back and looking at what she played in Congress, it's house cameras. Like, you're more than allowed to have surveillance cameras within your own home. And if they happen to catch somebody naked walking in your house, oh, well,
Yeah, I mean, that the whole thing was, I don't think she made allegations that she was raped by those guys. Did she?
Just going through the allegations that she was, I believe they said that the men that were involved, there were 4 of them total, have raped other women. I don't know if it was that she was raped, but yeah.
Well, Independent George says, weird but hot. I find myself torn. Now, as a mom of boys, I'm going to give you, George, the same advice that I give all of my sons from the time they're real small. Bitches be crazy. So be careful and think with your brain.
Well, all of that, Nancy Mace's backing out. Was it really because of justice, or was it because you can't run against the Graham empire? Here is Sean Hannity coming out in his Botoxed out the wazoo. What the bleep is this, Sean Hannity? Asking Darlene Graham, are you running?
The president again saying, I hope Darlene does this. Meaning, I hope you will get. And here's the filing deadline for people that don't know. And
is it just me, or does he look terrible? Am I overlooking this?
I mean, did he ever look good?
No, but I don't like his cheeks are starting to encompass his entire face. Like, lay off.
It does look like his features are kind of getting sucked into the middle.
Lay off the Botox, bro. I don't know what's going on.
That?
Maybe he quit doing taekwondo or kung fu like every day. Remember when he used to talk about that like during the 2020 election?
No.
Oh my dude, go back and look. Like, every chance he got, he's like, I do taekwondo like every single day. I'm a 5th degree black belt. Like, every opportunity he could, he would mention that. Maybe he stopped doing it and that's why he's gaining weight, but he looks awful. And maybe it's just me.
These are just the laws of South Carolina. The filing begins tomorrow. I think you have a week.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And by that time, the funerals won't even have taken place.
I know.
And then the president's putting an ask on you, we'll put it that way. It's a lot of pressure.
It is a tremendous amount of pressure.
Tell me what's going through your head about it, and where do you stand now?
I'll continue to say I've been praying a lot, talking to my family, but with the love of my family, with the support of his staff. I know I'm a hard worker. I learned that from Lindsay. He cared about the people of this state. I've worked for almost 30 years for the people of this state.
I want to talk about that in a minute.
I feel like I can do it. I feel an inner peace about it. Will it be difficult? Yes, absolutely.
So you're inclined to get in, or have you even made a final decision?
I've made a decision.
You're in.
I'm in.
I'm so sick of this political dynasty bullshit.
So am I.
So the president has put an ask on you. The president really wants you to run. So I guess that means you're going to be the senator. No, that's not how this works, actually. And the president should have nothing to do. Let's be honest. The president should have nothing to do with who the senators are. The state legislatures should decide that.
Well, now you're talking about repealing the 17th Amendment.
Damn right I am.
Fuck yeah. Music to my ears. Did you see the post I put up yesterday about Ron DeSantis?
No.
Ron DeSantis came out the other day and was like, oh, we haven't been in we have 0 Democrat state representatives or statewide candidates in the state right now. No, it's not representatives, but 0 statewide office holders, for like governor, AG, all that stuff. We haven't had this in 150 years. And even back then it was Reconstruction. So elections were kind of bizarre or something like that. And I was like, you know what else was really bizarre back then? The way they ratified constitutional amendments. Maybe we should go back and look at the 13th and the 14th, and maybe from there we can go back and look at the 16th and 17th, because we know the 13th and 14th they made Nevada a state to get those through, and then the 16th and 17th they made Arizona a state to get those ones through. And New Jersey wanted to rescind their ratification. They won't let that happen. You can ratify it at any point in the process, but you can never. Once you ratify, you are sworn. It's a blood oath. Yeah.
Even if the people who ratify in specific states are appointed by the opposition, and the state itself doesn't want the thing, if you ratify it, it can never be undone. Well, wait a second. Actually, prohibition was a constitutional amendment, and then it was repealed. So we can actually do these things. We can actually change the long transformation program of the United States of America that's been underway since our founding, certainly in earnest since the end of the Civil War, in very subversive saculum since the end of World War II, and really in acceleration for the past 25 years. We can do hard things, America, but we can't do them if we're not honest about what our problems are. And if we keep putting on the stupid jerseys and shouting and cheering and jumping up and down for the two political parties, which is actually one political party and is representative of and beholden to the global world order, if we're not willing to be honest about that, then we're just going to end up with more Lindsey Grahams. And you can throw a wig on another one and call it his sister and say she's different, but it's the same staff. It's the same. That you heard that, right? Like, well, with the support of his staff, and the president wants me there, so I guess I'm going to be senator. That's not actually how this works.
Yep. By the way, no background checks either. We covered that yesterday.
Oh, the staff. I love that story. Oh my gosh, you guys. We really need to pass this law so that our staffers can't be foreign spies. And all of us are like, hang on a second.
That hasn't.
You guys aren't background checking your staff? Like well, that makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense as to why there's so many foreign spies in the Congress. These people are illegitimate. We have got to have a truth and reconciliation moment in this nation.
That's unsalvageable. That's what I called it.
Yeah.
It is not salvageable.
Just the fact that they would come out and tell us that, like, do it behind the scenes. Sure, if you need that law to be able to prevent, yourselves from hiring foreign spies, how retarded are you, by the way? If you need to do that, do it in the back end. Come out and, Kat Kamek and APL are like talking like, we have this bill and it's really important. We need to get all of the votes for this really important bill. You really shouldn't be bragging. You shouldn't be bragging about that. You shouldn't be spotlighting.
Somebody just now was like, hey, we should probably do background checks. I mean, Feinstein's drivers, who knows who else. Yeah, maybe.
Unbelievable.
Let's jump into this story. Speaking of Lindsey Graham here from Reuters, Lockheed Martin to make cheaper Patriot interceptors as air defense demand soars. It says Lockheed Martin announced a lower cost Patriot interceptor as U.S. and European governments seek more affordable ways to counter the mass missile and drone attacks. The new PAC-3 Adapted Capability Effector, or ACE missile, would cost less than half as much as the PAC-3 MSE interceptors, which cost roughly $4 million per missile. By the way, they're shooting down $20,000, $30,000 drones. So $4 million to take down 20, 30, even 60 million. Even
$100,000 be a better way.
Excuse me, 20, 30, 40,000, not million. Even $100,000. Let's shoot $4 million.
Why can't we discombobulate the $30,000 drones? Like, can't we free? Didn't we already demonstrate that technology to be able to like zap them and they basically fall out of the sky? Like, why do we need a $1 million missiles?
The company said initial production could start in 2028. So in the meantime, $4 million per pop right there. Get them while they're hot. Having earlier said it would take 36 months, adding that it plans to develop them and manufacture the weapons with the U.S. and European industry partners. The reduced cost, Lockheed will, quote unquote, throttle back some of the most expensive components, including solid rocket motors and seekers, the sensors that detect and track incoming targets. So do we not need seekers to detect and track drones that are incoming? Maybe because they're moving slower than the normal.
This is stupid.
This is so stupid. Like, how have you not been doing this the whole fucking time? Like, no. That's a serious question there, Ash.
It's a theme. It's a theme of U.S. policy.
How have you not been doing this the whole time? So when we hear about all these Patriot missiles that we've been firing the whole time, Lockheed Martin's just like, don't tell them we can do this for half the price.
Yeah.
That is the incompetency of the federal government. That is the bureaucracy. That is what President Trump was talking about the day he announced his presidency. He said, I'm going to close the door between the bureaucracy, the government, and the private contractors, the private industry. 7 years, I think he said. You cannot go from the military straight to one of these contractors, because that's what happens when these generals, these colonels, they get out of the military, they go over to Lockheed Martin, and they're like, hey, I've got a buddy now that I vouched for to take my place in contracting with the Defense Department, and we can get $4 million for these rockets, but we can build them for $2 million. Shut up. We can get them for $4 million.
Yeah, it's how the world works. And specifically, specifically with regards to the federal government. I remember when I was working in, management consulting, a global firm, during the performance review cycles, there's always, the bottom, your bottom performers are probably going to get cut, at least put on performance plans, get cut. But I remember, and this has never left my, kind of my thinking about how the world works. One of the guys, I think he was in a transformation or innovation, like partner role, highly paid, high level role. The way he used to talk about cutting staff was make them clients. He used to say, let's make them clients. So you treat them really well out the door. You help them get a job in a targeted industry where you want to increase your footprint. And then you've got, new channels to sell into that industry. That should not be the way that we deal with war, right? Like, okay, maybe that's cool for financial services clients or for retail and manufacturing clients. When we're talking about the defensive capabilities and whether or not we're going to pay $4 million per missile to Lockheed Martin for something that they could do, they could produce the missile for $2 million. And oh, by the way, you might not even need that missile. Someone, I think it was New K's in the chat, was like, "What about lasers? Like, lasers seem like they."
What about bullets? How about just regular bullets?
Yeah, I mean, what about stopping the overt propaganda to make everybody think the international threats are worse than they are, so that we always have to stay in a position of war?
Here's a crazy idea, Ash. If they can make $20,000-$30,000 drones, why can't we make $20,000 or $30,000 drones to counter their $20,000 or $30,000 drones? It's just absurd. It's absurd. It is. The
$4 million missile thing is really. I mean, honestly, that sounds like money laundering.
Well, I mean, it is. Have you ever seen this industry? When I was in Huntsville, I got driven. I'm not going to say who drove me through because I don't want to dime people out, but they drove me through
I know
They drove me through all of these campuses, and they're like, yeah, that's Lockheed Martin, that's Raytheon, that's, Boeing, that's so-and-so, that's so-and-so. And it's like, these buildings are massive, just like insane. And they're only one of dozens throughout the country. And it's like, man, this entire industry is just, and this is why we have 730 bases throughout the globe. This is why we have 10 times more of a defense budget than the next two biggest threats to the United States combined. It's crazy. But all right, let's move on, because I want to get
War is a racket, everyone.
It is absolutely a racket.
Badlands Book Club, Thursdays at 2 Eastern.
We did that episode. We did that book in one episode.
We sure did.
I want to get to this story. I'm going to glance over this story just because I want to show the clip because it's pure propaganda. From the AP, Andy Burnham becomes the UK's 7th prime minister in a decade after Starmer resigns. Again, it's a shit show. But look at this coverage here and pay attention. Watch until the very end. So this is, somebody recorded this. I give credit. This is Bernie, the Artemis for Now, on X, and just watch this. You got the baby in the background there. It looks like there's a big crowd there to see him and everything else. Yay, we got a new prime minister. The smoke is coming out of the Vatican. Whatever. Baby, old people, we got minorities. The crowd's loving it.
Crowd loves it.
Crowd
Oh,
is
yikes.
loving it. Also, the crowd.
That's Chris, great. Shout out to the cameraman.
Maybe 25 people, 30 people.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love that. I was watching that this morning. I was like, oh wow, look, he's got a big reception. It's like a MAGA rally.
Yeah. Yeah, that lady in green was a little scary.
Oh man. Just briefly, the cyclosporiasis outbreak that they're attributing to Taco Bell. It was a false positive. But
Yeah, I heard about that.
But it still may be the lettuce from Taco Bell, but it was a false positive. Also, there's 1,600 cases in Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio, and West Virginia. I'm gonna go eat Taco Bell this afternoon just to support
These
Taco Bell.
These bastards disparaged Taco Bell to protect the pooping migrants.
Yep.
Change my mind. Prove
And
me
it was a-
wrong.
and it
How
was a
dare
false-
they?
It was a false
How
positive.
dare they? Taco
They have-
Bell should sue.
They have no direct ties other than some of the people that they've come down with this have eaten at Taco Bell. And I guarantee you Taco Bell is getting obliterated right now in terms
but that's the thing, is that it wasn't Taco Bell. It was I believe the FDA that released that rumor. Reminder, everyone, the FDA has an allowable amount of maggots in canned goods. So you really shouldn't listen to the FDA, because the only allowable amount of maggots in your food is none maggots. But according to the FDA, there's an allowable amount. So I don't know why we would listen to them. But also, they just disparaged Taco Bell. And I know there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people out there that are like, oh my gosh, you guys are eating fast food. You eat Taco Bell? Meh. Yes, Brian and I both eat Taco Bell. It's delightful.
It is. I haven't had Taco Bell in like 2 months, though, to be clear. Just
I
to
had
be
Taco Bell like
clear.
last week.
Nope. I have not had Taco Bell in quite some time. Christy saved me from it a couple over the weekend, last weekend. She saved me from it. I might have gotten cyclosporiasis if I had gone, but she saved me.
That was fake, Brian. The whole point of the story is that was fake. Why are you continuing to spread propaganda about Taco Bell? How dare you?
I am kidding. I did go to Dairy Queen, though, and ordered on an AI menu and was like, I will never be back to this Dairy Queen again. Okay.
I heard you say that.
Dude, that video got like 100,000 views. I was like blown away. I was like, God, I was just like making a kind of an in passing joke here. But okay.
I do like the cheese curds at Dairy Queen.
We've got 14 minutes left, and I really want to get to this story. But all right, here we go. The flock cameras. I want to. We haven't talked about the flock.
This is the gymnastics thing.
No, this is the yellow barrels thing.
Oh,
So,
I don't know that one.
All right. So check out. I'm going to just show a couple videos here for those who are not oriented with the flock cameras and what they are.
You're saying flock does not track people, correct?
Track people. That's right. And the hold their movements like you asked. We're not tracking people.
But what do the Condor cameras do? They literally are designed to track a person, aren't they?
Not to track a person, no.
This is a flock camera known as a Condor. Unlike the Falcon license plate reader camera, you'll notice this does track the movements of people. Whether or not it was designed to specifically track a person, you can see right now, in real time, no matter which way I move, the camera moves with me.
And that's not all that those cameras do, by the way. We've seen how they can even track your phone screen to find out what you're looking at.
I could watch a man rollerblade and then take a break to watch rollerblading videos on his phone. How? Because the camera's AI automatically zoomed in on it. Just like it zoomed in on a couple arguing at a street market in Atlanta. So what? They're still anonymous, right? No, they're not. Within 2 minutes of open source intelligence using a commercial facial recognition engine, I found out that one of them just finished medical school and the other is dealing with chronic irritable bowel syndrome.
There's a reason why some cops openly brag about how you can't even breathe without them knowing about it.
You have cameras everywhere in that town. You can't get a breath of fresh air in or out without us knowing. Like I said, nothing gets in or out of the town without us knowing about it. I already know where you were. Yeah. I have it on camera. I have you on camera walking up, ringing the doorbell, taking the package, and literally running away.
Okay, so let's jump over to that video real quick.
Chrisana Elzer learned the power of flock firsthand.
You were in town from 11:52 until 12:09. Exactly. Like I said, nothing gets in or out of the town without us knowing.
When a Colorado police officer showed up at her door holding flock snapshots of her truck.
And here's when you left at 12:09. That's when you left town.
To get.
No, to stop at Ridge Trail
Wait a minute.
and take a package. Well, there's no shushing. I don't need to be.
I need to know where this is.
The first thing he pulled out on the body cam is that flock picture, the clear photograph of your car.
But here's your vehicle in the neighborhood many, many times, apparently casing houses, because you just can't drive through for work or visit other businesses. You can only be casing houses.
It is her. It is 100%. It is locked in. There is zero doubt. I wouldn't have come here unless I was 100%.
You're guilty.
100%.
You're guilty already at the
It
door.
is on video. You're obviously welcome to go to court.
Chrisana was charged with stealing a package, but it wasn't her. The porch pirate was somebody else. Multiple times you tried to show him your video evidence. He didn't want to see it.
Even when I called him back, he said, that's not my job.
You looked at a time of a crime. You saw my vehicle entering in the flock.
No, what I did was I did an investigation.
You called my wife a liar. You said this is fact.
I have video evidence. I don't know what you want me to say.
The charges were dropped after Chrisana spent weeks trying to get the police chief to look at her evidence. Time-stamped video from her truck and a neighbor's doorbell camera showing she wasn't at the scene of the crime. What does it say about where we are that you feel you have to have?
So we can land that there, but the cops doubled down. They're like, well, we had the flock camera. She's like, I have cameras. Thank God. Thank God. By the way, if she didn't have those cameras, she would have been charged with that crime and convicted of that crime.
Innocent until proven guilty. These are police officers. These are people that should know that better than anyone. But the way he was talking to her, I have video evidence. You're dead to rights. You're welcome to go to court if you want, but I have you. I have it on video. I have it. You're a liar. Why are you even fighting this? I have you on video. Just sign this thing, right? Just comply. Just plea. You're welcome to go to court if you want, but we have you dead to rights. That's not how any of this works.
So, there's this thing. I've been seeing these posts popping up all over X. And to be honest, most of them are coming from this account here, Matt Von Swole, who's a former nuclear scientist for U.S. Department of Energy. He said some base things back in the day. Everybody jumped
came on the scene after the Western North Carolina stuff, right? The hurricane flooding, all of that.
Yes,
FEMA stuff.
Exactly.
That's where I remember seeing him for the first time.
He's relatively new on the whole, tech bro that's totally based and saying the right thing, so let's all follow him. Well, he's been posting a lot of these videos, and I'm not saying one way or the other, but breaking: police in New Bern are seeking the public's help to identify two men who cut down a brand new flock camera that was just installed. Don't dime these people out to police. Give them medals. Give them trophies. Here's another one, video he put out. Police in Houston are asking for the public's help to identify a mystery person who cut down two flock cameras on Independence Day. Nothing more fitting to do on Independence Day than cut down mass government surveillance of your movements that are going to be used to track you.
Which we do not condone or endorse here at Badlands Media.
I'm not going to condone it or endorse it, but I'm also not going to condemn it.
Yeah, same.
I'm not going to condemn it. I'm not going to tell you to go out there and do this, but
G-Money will judge you for this, though.
I don't, you know what?
G-Money likes the surveillance state.
Whatever. Here's another one here. Share this tab. Police in Indiana are asking the public's help to identify the person. Here we go.
You drove by just a few days ago. You may have noticed flock cameras standing here off of Reliance Road, but now they've been cut down completely at their base.
Oh,
good.
That's such a shame. That's such a shame. And then this is another one here. This is in Connecticut. This town fought against them.
Town leaders here in Windsor say it was not an easy decision, but they have decided to pull the plug on the 16 flock cameras that were set up around town. And to be clear, these cameras are not the kind that send you a ticket if you go by speeding or running a red light. They just sit there quietly photographing every vehicle going by, noting the time, license plate, and location. If a car is stolen out of Hartford, police can access the flock cameras and see if that car went by a camera here in Windsor.
That's all it's doing. It's just quietly sitting there spying on you, and it's totally only being used if a car's stolen. Yeah, okay, please. You're going to spend how much money? $40,000-$50,000 per camera and all the maintenance and all the data sharing, and nobody's like, hey, that's a huge source of information there. Anonymize the data and let's sell it.
Are these the same cameras, same tech that is used on your smart highways in Florida?
Yes, we have them. We have them down here. They're brand new in my city. And now, to be fair, at least there's a sign.
The smart highways have been in place since 2020.
So the smart highways are getting a huge bump here, and they're actually going to start issuing citations from what I've seen reported. Wow. Now, again, I don't know if this is true or not, but the citations, they're going to issue citations for speeding, illegal lane change, carpool violations. I mean, it's
so
getting
free.
It's getting insane. Here's a video. I want to share this one, and then I'll show you one last thing on the flock before we talk about it.
Just got a $1,250 ticket in the mail for having my phone on my lap, face down, and both hands on the steering wheel. Pretty cool.
But they're totally not being used to issue citations. Not
you
at
have
all.
to fight. So here's the thing. The government will trample all over your rights. The only way to peacefully fight it, prevent it from happening is to actually fight them in court. So if you get a $1,200 ticket from the authorities about illegal surveillance suggesting that you proved a crime, go to court.
Yeah.
Don't just accept that. Oh my gosh, the government says I owe them $1,200. I have to pay it. No, you have to fight it. And you might end up on the front line fighting for, privacy rights of Americans. And you might be the reason that we actually secure them and get rid of this surveillance state, which is unlawful in the United States of America. But unlawful stuff happens by the government all the time if it's unopposed.
Exactly. And that's the unfortunate thing, is that it happens all the time. And that's because we have illegitimate elections with captured, politicians that run these things, and they run us into the direction of a police state, and we have no recourse to get out of it. So the last clip I want to show, the flock cameras. If this doesn't piss you the bleep off, I don't know what does. They're seeing them get cut down all over the place. So what do? Disguise them as those roadside barriers.
Explain to me what this is. I was just driving and I noticed this camera staring at me. There's a camera poking on both sides. You're not slick. What is this, Arizona? Explain to me. And there's a cable going on the backside. Runs up here and just...
So if you can't get them, if they're cutting them down because you got these big ugly cameras sticking up, what do? Just disguise it as a traffic side barrier. Like the 5G towers. Have you seen the ones that they turn into trees?
Yeah.
Trees. Yeah. Or the ones
that's crazy.
Like, the ones that they put like birds of prey on them so that like birds don't come and crap all over them. Yeah. Those kinds of things.
Shout out to the heroes who are out there cutting them down.
I mean, again, we don't condone, but we call them heroes. So let's just call it what it is. It's unlawful surveillance. It's Fourth Amendment violations. We have
sons of liberty.
We have the right to film each other in public. We don't have. The government does not have the right to film us and gather our information or data. This was actually this is now Supreme Court law in the last docket, that you can't use geolocation data without a warrant with specificity. So, if you're selling this data, cut that shit out. These cameras got to go, man. Like we have them. I was saying earlier, we have them here in Sunrise where I live now. To be fair, at least Sunrise puts up a warning that, hey, you're being monitored from this time to this time, and don't speed. It's a school zone. Don't speed through the school zone during this time, or you'll get a ticket in the mail. And it's still not okay in any way, shape, or form, but at least they're alerting you that it's coming. But I mean, we're in line for a police state, man. If we don't start cutting this shit off right away, we're going to be China. We're going to be mainland China, where they literally can get tickets in the mail for any single thing that they want. And they're like, this is okay. This is great. No.
Yeah, and then you hook it up with via social credit score to all of your banking information, what you're allowed to buy, where you're allowed to participate in society, get into the 15-minute cities, you can't leave, all of these things. And you will hear hey man, that can't happen in the United States of America. Stuff that can't happen in the United States of America happens in the United States of America all the time. And it will continue to happen if it is unopposed. And someone in the chat was like, we don't have that money just laying around for a lawyer. I get it, man. If you don't have a lawyer, grab the rule book and learn the law and go fight it anyway, because you can negotiate against yourself. They know that most people are not going to take the time to oppose their $1,200 ticket. They're just going to suck it up and pay it. But if everybody grows a sack and starts fighting back against the government who is doing unlawful stuff at the local, state, and federal level, we can make change real quick, but you got to be brave and you got to stop waiting for someone to save you.
Yep. And the last thing, I don't know how I missed this. I just saw this morning when I was looking for Trump's Truth Social post on Darlene Graham. Trump posted this out on Sunday. Christopher Macchio, the great opera singer, was amazing at the World Cup today. He, quote, took the house down, end quote, President Donald J. Trump.
Nice.
Do you know who Chris Macchio is?
Mm-mm.
Oh, he is the opera singer that performed at the Republican National Convention.
Oh, right on.
And he sang Nessun Dorma and had all the Q folks just going crazy over that. And now Trump truths out that he's, quote unquote, gonna took the house down right after.
Is that a Q reference too?
Well, I feel like that's a Nessun Dorma reference. Shall not sleep. I don't know. Pretty interesting. I don't know if I still have my rants saved, guys. Yeah, I do, but I don't know if I have all of them. I don't know if you can fact check me on these rants here, Ash, because my crash there. But
I do have them. It starts with EC was here.
Okay.
But you're missing one. CPG. Ash, what did you do to Brian? I think we need proof of life. Otherwise, I'll just put him in the same category as Mitch. I mean,
I think that's when my power went out. Ash was practicing voodoo witchcraft on me. She has a voodoo doll with power cables coming out of its butt.
Brian realized that he was about to lose an argument and he ran away.
Not at all. Not at all. I won that argument. You are literally backing up
the argument.
You are backing up. You are backing up an overbearing foreign government interfering in another country's elections.
Shield isn't a foreign government.
Because of 6 words. It's from
because of a statement that the U.S. government has not made before, and it's a statement they don't want us to think about, and they punish us if we talk too much about it. That elections, the will of the people at the ballot box, is the sole foundation of public power. Say it over and over and over and over and over again to every elected official you see face to face, and then ask them why they're obstructing.
Trump said that in his speech.
You and I have to talk about this.
Said that
hang on a second, because we have to talk about this. Somebody brought this up yesterday on my ex, and Thomas Massey. Thomas Massey out there. Why are we talking about China and elections? Elections are fine. We won, guys. Elections are great.
No. That's not what he said. He said, we have the majority. Why aren't we doing anything? No, he said, why aren't we doing anything? Yes.
Okay. All right, cool. Keep reading the rants, and I'm going to pull up the statement.
No, pull up the clip that you tagged me in. I haven't seen a statement, so I can't defend against a statement.
I was referring to the post. Hang on.
Okay, Emerald Dragon. Hi, friends. Jay Teeter Brunn. Did you hear John Solomon say on a recent interview? By the way, I don't vote, but if I did vote, I'd vote Republican. No, I did not hear John Solomon say that.
She found that link and sent it. I have it, but I haven't listened to it yet. It's 4 minutes.
That's crazy.
I'll send it to you.
Bobu Afu, Brian needs to make reparations to Taco Bell. Taco Bell once a week for the rest of the year. I'm going to need more than $2 for that, Bobu Afu. Oh, you're saying me pay? No. I'm enjoying not doing that. Emerald Dragon, I may or may not start going around with a green laser and a big sign that says, go flock yourselves, to hide myself from the cameras. You may or may not do that. I would not recommend that. We call them green bean dazzlers, by the way, in the Marine Corps, and I don't know why, because they're IR. Keith O'Higgins, I once dated an opera singer, very selfish. Everything was me. I don't have the
well done.
All right.
Securing the elections is a weapon of mass destruction. Republicans won the elections and have since increased the debt, increased spending, started a war, caused inflation, protected the criminal elite, betrayed our sovereignty, and infringed on your rights. This is one of many posts that Thomas Massie is saying that election integrity is a psyop. It's a dodge. We don't need it. What we need is for Republicans to wield their illegitimate power. That is what Thomas Massie is saying over and over and over again.
Not exactly what he said. Everything he said in there is
I
factual.
love that Brian is still
Correct.
defending Thomas Massie. It's so good.
No. The gist of it is absolutely correct. We have not done anything
that securing the elections is distraction.
No. In the substance,
in all caps, he put it, Brian. That was in all caps, that part.
And notice how you took it down very quickly. So
I'll put it right back up. You want it back up?
I could not read the part that is absolutely correct. So pull it back up.
You got it.
I told you I disagree with the election thing. Not everybody's going to stand for the elections the way that you or I do. Maybe they're not educated. If they aren't, that's their own fault. But increased
beneficiary of fake elections, Brian.
Hold on. We got to go. But increased debt, fact check true. Increased spending, fact check true. Started a war, fact check true. Caused inflation, fact check true. Protected the criminal elite. I think there's more nuance.
What's the first sentence, buddy? What does the first sentence say?
I understand that. I disagree with that. I absolutely disagree with that. Name one Republican out there other than Donald J. Trump, or a politician, and I don't like calling him a politician. Name one other than Donald J. Trump that has said that anything even close to what we want from elections. Name one. Who out there is fighting for us? We have nobody except Donald J. Trump. So to call out
Thomas Massie was the first person to support Ron DeSantis when he was running against Donald J. Trump. He does not support the president. He has not supported the president. And he just said that focusing on securing elections is a distraction.
I disagree.
You can
with
keep
that
defending
vehemently.
him. I mean, I think that's fantastic. It'll make for a really fun
I
conversation.
disagree with that vehemently.
You disagree with him saying elections are fake, but you agree with everything else he says while he's calling fake elections.
Everything else he said right there is correct, except the criminal elite. I think there's more to that story, but everything
we'll
else
have to leave it there, and the audience can certainly decide.
All right, we'll see you guys later.
Bye, guys.